Good morning, everyone. I'm Denise O'Malley. I'm the founder of You Define Wellness, and welcome to another edition of an Apple a Day webinar. These are our twice monthly webinars where we work on wellness in your business, wellness of your body, wellness of your health. And today I am so delighted to have a very dear friend of mine come on. Today we're working on wellness of our business. I guess for an entrepreneur, you can also say it's wellness of their mind as to what we're going to be talking about. But welcome, Cheryl Burget of Your Sales Genius. Did I say that right?
You did. You did.
Good. So, Cheryl, thank you for coming on board. I really appreciate having you with us today.
You are so welcome, Denise. I am so excited. And, you know, a lot of times when I meet people, they think Your Sales Genius is talking about me. And I'm actually referring to them. One of the things that you and I both know is as people begin their business, the one thing they forget or aren't aware of is that they're going to have to come out as a salesperson. And as you know, 85% of people don't like sales and they don't want to be considered somebody who has to do the selling. So I recognized this years ago, and I am going to share today a couple of things. One is, particularly for our demographic of the wellness provider, how do you say it to sell it? A lot of people are out there doing it incorrectly or less successful. And the reason that they're not getting clients is because they don't even know how to describe what they do that gets people to listen.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
I love this already.
Yeah. So what I want to do is kind of go through the steps, first of all, of how you do that. You know, what are the things? You know, I hear it's so great. People want to say what their title is, right? I am a,
and it means nothing.
What'd you say?
It means nothing.
Right. I'm a bean counter, right? We know that means an accountant. I am a tree, I'm looking out my window, a tree magnifying specialist that helps it to grow. I mean, so actually that'd probably be better than some of the titles I've heard. So you have to really get people's attention, and I'm going to break it down into the three parts that you need to share. And some people call it an elevator pitch. That can sound really scripted. And I'm going to tell you kind of the do's and don'ts, right? What are the things that you need to do?
Okay.
But I'm going to start out by sharing a little bit about me. It's just to give you an idea of kind of where I've been through. I've done it all. So there's nothing I haven't done in this process. I have to, and I've learned sometimes the hard way. Right?
I got to tell you, Cheryl, I had president and janitor on my business card one time. So have you ever had that on yours?
I've done it all. Okay. So how to say it to sell it. And I do not shy away from the word sale or selling or sales. And the reason I don't, let me tell you why I don't. I don't because energetically, we cannot want something to come to us and at the same time push it away, right? We can't do this. Wait, how do you do that? It's like rubbing your hand. You can't push it away and want it to come to you. So I want to help people to embrace sales from a little bit different perspective. Let me get us going forward here. That would help. Okay. I love it. Technology, sometimes that's not my strength. People who work with me know that that's not my strength. So I'm just claiming it right now. So CEO means Chief Empowerment Officer. I like to empower people because when they know how to sell, they'll never be worried about money again. When they know how to articulate what they do that gets people's attention and people are willing to pay for that because they're able to share the value specifically on how they help people. Don't ask me to say that again, but
we have it recorded. We're good.
Great. We should go back and listen to that. So the first paid sales job I had to tell you, it was really funny. I found a job because I'm a do-gooder. You know, I have a huge heart, as you know. And I found a job, and it probably was back in the day when you actually went to a paper to find a job. It was a summer job for me. I just got in my car the previous 6 months before, so I knew I remember driving, so I know I was 16. And it said, it was a Oklahoma Prevention of Child Abuse. Okay, I grew up in Oklahoma. And I remember the ad said, raising money to send kids who were victims of child abuse to the Whitewater Park in our town, in the city. I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to get to send these kids. It's going to feel so good. So my training consisted of a script, a telephone, one of those old heavy dial telephones, Southwestern Bell, a Yellow Pages, and a room with ashtrays. Okay, so back in the day, we called that a boiler room. I didn't know what it was called at the time. But one thing I did know is I loved people, I loved a challenge, and I felt like I was doing something good by serving other people. So I didn't get too much in my head about what will people think, was it a little uncomfortable at the beginning? Absolutely. And then I started to have some success. I have to tell you, the truth of the matter is the reason people don't like sales is because they're not good at it. They're not good at it. They're so afraid of feeling uncomfortable, pushy, manipulative, that they don't ever practice being good at it. So I would say that the number one skill as a solopreneur, small business owner, in a service-based, client-driven business, the number one skill you must have, it's not how well, you have to deliver your service, of course, but you have to know how to sell it, or you're never going to make any money. So people are unwilling to have an uncomfortable conversation. They're willing to go broke. Or they can step up, be serious about what they're doing, and learn how to master a skill that actually makes you feel good when you do it well. When you do it well. So I actually was working with several other, I think I worked my best friend into doing it with me every day. And there were 40-year-olds and sitting around this room. And I say ashtrays because at that time you could smoke. And believe me, the people sitting in those rooms did. And I remember one week, we got paid weekly. And I remember one week being the top salesperson that week. And that felt good. And it also felt good because I was helping kids. Mm-hmm. Right. So I never intended to go out and create a job where I was in sales. I actually kind of started in marketing and moved into sales, but that was never my intention. What I have come to realize today is that if you know sales, you will never be broke. You'll never be broke if you know how to sell something, because the foundation of the principles can go, and I've sold many different things in my life, right? And so for 18 years, I spent in financial services, and the most powerful things, and I was very successful, and had a great career. And I remember the day that I walked out of my office door and thought, what in the world am I going to do with the rest of my life? I was like 41 years old. I know I don't look much older than that now.
Yeah, that was yesterday, I'm sure.
Yeah, just a couple of years ago. And I walked out of my office and thought, what am I going to do? I was in sales. I had great clients, loved my client relationship. The issue was that in the stock market, I had no control over what happened, and my clients were losing money. And it truly was breaking my heart, and I didn't know what to do. So I wasn't very happy with the lack of control that I had. I couldn't deliver the service that they so desperately wanted me to, and that I wanted to, right? And it's a very complicated emotional battle. The stock market is driven by, as you know, fear and greed. But if you look at everything in our lives, I don't like to say fear and greed. I like to say fear and love. So you're either making decisions based in fear or you're making decisions based out of love. In 2017 or 2007, I left. I had an opportunity, found my passion as it was. And my passion was to inspire others to find their own greatness and empower them to live it. Now, great, but that doesn't equal money. So the opportunities came for me to leave my corporate job, create an amazing opportunity to travel the world as a trainer for the passion test. And we trained facilitators. And eventually I took over the business program, which actually helped our passion test facilitators grow businesses. So what I learned from those two experiences was how I want to do sales and how I don't. Right? I learned a lot of ways I didn't want to do sales in the financial industry. One of them had to do with honesty and integrity. The other was learning how difficult it was for heart-based professionals or heart-based people to really get out and sell their services. And it's really complicated in the sense that it has to do with emotion and things like that. So remember the movie, Denise, A League of Their Own, and when Tom goes, there's no crying in baseball.
Yes, I do.
There's no fear. There's no emotions in in selling and your business, take the emotions out of your business. Now, I say that, and it's not so easy to do, right? We are human beings. We take all of ourselves. But when it comes down to running your business, you really have to take the emotions out, and you have to have a plan, right? You got to have some kind of plan, right? And so in 2016, because I wanted to do it my way, I launched Your Sales Genius, where I could put all the parts together. I could actually really see what the problem that people were having and really give them a solution on not only how to become better at sales, master sales, and make money at their businesses. And, you know, if you look in the dictionary, the reality is that creating a business, the whole purpose of having a business entity is to create money, is to create money. So if you love what you do and you're not doing it for money, then it's called a hobby, right? It's just a hobby. So I am helping people to see their business differently. So getting people, you know, a lot of times I'll ask people, Denise, so when I'm interviewing, these are actually after a client has said they want to work with me, I take them through an intake. And I ask them some of these questions, like, how many people are you asking to work with you a week? And I get these stares. And then, not to embarrass anybody or make them feel bad, I say, oh, you know what? You just didn't know. You're supposed to ask people to work with you. You just didn't know that, right? You hung the shingle, you printed your beautiful brochures, and you thought that that was enough to attract people. You posted a couple things on social media. You thought people would be coming and going, oh my gosh, I need that. The reality is we have billions of bits of information our brain is filtering every day, and we almost need to be hit on the head with something that is so specific that gets our attention.
Yes.
And that's where learning to successfully answer the following question, what do you do? What do you do? And you'd think it's a pretty easy question, but it is something I can tell. I can actually tell what's in your bank account by how you answer this question.
Really?
Yep.
That's pretty amazing. See, I can tell based on how long they take to answer that question.
Well, that's part of it. That's part of it,
yes.
Right?
They go on and on and on and on and on and on. They still have not refined what they want to do, and they are struggling.
Right. Mm-hmm. And so, you know what? It is something. I'm in a high-level mastermind business coaching group, and I'm going to tell you, after I'm entering my third year, and I got to tell you, seriously, don't feel bad about this. We have people who are in multiple years, and they think they're still struggling with this. Mm-hmm. Okay, they're still struggling with this. Now, mine's pretty easy. There's some professions that seem more difficult, but I'm going to try to make it easy by kind of breaking it down and showing you the things that you need to do. Okay. Awesome. All right. What did you say? So once you get this down, so I want to share. Okay, once you understand what you're doing and how you articulate it, it's going to be as if all of a sudden you spoke up. People are starting to notice you. People are going to start to ask you more about what you do. You watched this experience happen, I'm sure, Denise, where in fact, we were at a joint group the other day, and there was a woman who, and I'll give you an example. So this is how not to do it. I'm not going to call her out because many people do this all the time. You know what? I'm an inspirational phonetics coach. I also do Reiki. I'm an EFT tapper. I do cranial sacral work, and I'm a massage therapist. Oh, and by the way, I just signed on to offer CBD products in my office.
In the hopes that something you threw up on the table attracts the person across from you. Yeah.
So that's the surface problem. Mm-hmm. The reality of that problem right there, so there's many, but the reality of that problem is that there's a lack mentality there. Yeah. There is a lack underneath that if I don't say all the words that I'm going to leave money on the table, that somebody's not going to find me, that blah, blah, blah. Actually, just the opposite is true.
Yes.
Just the more clear you can articulate what you do, specifically to the person or persons, but I'm going to say person, that you help, mm-hmm. and the problem you solve, mm-hmm. and what happens when they work with you, the more money you're going to make.
and let
Okay.
people ask you to elaborate as opposed to elaborating for them. So can
Denise,
I just reinforce something
perfect.
you just said?
Sure. Sure.
When building my business for the past 2 years under You Define Wellness, it's been kind of like, okay, we're shaping where we're going. And so I was, actually trying all kinds of different ways of saying what we do, to just kind of see what resonated and what the person's response was going to be. It wasn't until I got to the line I use today, when I did, all of a sudden everything has exploded in a very good way. And all I did was tweak a few words.
Yep. And so do you mind, is this a good time for you to share those words with everyone?
Certainly. I
Great.
help people attain and maintain healthy lifestyles through an employer-sponsored benefit plan.
There you go. Clear, concise, less than 20 words. We do exercises where I have people describe what they do in 5 words or less. Describe to me what you do in 5 words or less. And the reason is it's so clear. And I'm going to break this down for you in a formula. So the title of the slide is called What Did You Say? Because it's as if you said it the first time.
Mm-hmm.
You said it the first time. So people are hearing you for the first time because you are articulating. First of all, you have to get their attention. Okay. You've lost me by the third modality and process you've done. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not the modality and process I want. That's not my problem. I don't wake up in the morning and say, oh my gosh, I need a Reiki session. I wake up and say, dang, I'm feeling stuck 3 days in a row. What's blocking me?
Those are the tools.
Right.
I don't sit here and say, I use a calculator and a stapler to assemble proposals that will help people.
Right.
It's
Right. So
tool.
it's just, it's peeling people away from the things that they do well and the things that they love. Okay. So now people are hearing you for the first time. So I'm going to, if I can, give kind of a success story that I just worked with a woman. She was a real estate transaction coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So who does she help? She helps realtors. Okay. That's her market. So that's pretty clear. I help realtors. Now, as a transaction coordinator, that's a very generic term that I actually didn't know before I started working with her. Okay. But it's someone who takes from the moment the contract's signed to the moment that the implementation and all of the deal is done. Mm-hmm. And she has a word for it. I'm not getting it, but and she takes care of all that middle piece for the realtor. Okay.
Didn't know there was such a thing. That's cool.
Yeah. So it's for people that would be perfect for me if I was real estate. I would love to be out being with the people, showing them homes, as many people as I could get through and make happy, and not have to deal with, the scheduling the inspections. What forms do we have to have, and the land surveys, and oh my gosh. I mean, so that's what she does. Now, the cool thing is you can do it yourself, just like everything else. It's a DIY, or you can hire somebody to do it. Now, I said to her, anybody who is doing more than 2 transactions a month, it should be a target for you. You're correct, Cheryl. Why would you have some low people who are doing 1 every other month? Why would you even entertain that? That's not going to keep you busy. She was making $400 every other month. She had one guy who was kind of giving her some business here and there, testing her out. In 90 days, 3 months of working with her. So I started with her in February. I got a call, I think it was 2 weeks ago. She'd set an intention. I'm going to have 10 working transactions at one time. And she said 30 to 60 days. And I looked at her and I said, okay, 30 to 60 doesn't work. I'm going to ask you to give me how many days? And she said 45. Day 31, I get a phone call. I have 10 transactions going on right now. Now I'm about to go crazy and now I need to hire someone. 90 days. Wow. So here's what she did. She got really clear on who her market was. Mm-hmm. Real estate agents who were doing more than 2 transactions a month. Mm-hmm. Okay. Because she didn't want to have a bunch of real estate agents and them throwing her, oddballs, softballs every once in a while. And here's what we changed. I said, so you're a little bit more expensive than the ones that they have in-house that they have to pay for. So you're a personal concierge. So she's a personal concierge transaction coordinator. So when she says that, or I'm a personal concierge, I can't say it. I said, could we have come up with something easier? Transaction coordinator, real estate agent's like, what does that mean? That means when you're sitting with your husband or your family at a soccer game, you're not getting the phone calls. I'm taking them for you. All of a sudden, they start to realize real life scenarios as to ways that she can help them.
Yep, because they all get that phone call. Mm-hmm.
That's right. So she has literally signed some of the top brokers in the city doing multiple six figures on the way to seven figures in the last 90 days. I said, we've already surpassed what you wanted to accomplish in the first 6 months. Now what? And so now we're talking about how do we expand her business? They still get her, but she has other people to do things. So now we're in the hiring stage.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I couldn't, she did the work. I just put a framework around it because she had been in business 6 months, looks like she was doing well, but had no clients. And she had, some money stashed so that it looked like that she was running a very successful business. We polished, really good, but she wasn't asking people to work with her. She said, well, I'd send an email out and they wouldn't return my call. And I'm like, oh my. I said, first of all, don't ever expect anyone to return your call. That solves that problem right there. Don't ever expect it. If you never expect it, you'll never be disappointed.
Exactly.
I'm never disappointed. All right. So here's the formula. Oops. Let me go the other way. Ooh, there we go. Okay. So I call this the impact statement formula. So this is where you're asked to stand up and tell what you do. Okay. So we're gonna have a little fun with this. So the very first thing we need is, so it's a very simple formula called I help who. So I help blank. So Denise, I'm going to use you as an example. I help who?
I help employees.
Okay. I help employees and employers, right?
Employers.
Okay, great. I help employees and employers who struggle with what?
Attaining or maintaining healthy lifestyles.
Maintaining healthy lifestyles. And what do they get?
Solutions.
Okay. So and I put it in a format she's just not used to saying. And so the thing that I find people work with is they get hung up on the words. They get hung up on the order. They get hung. Right. Once you begin to embody this, you'll never say the same thing twice.
Exactly.
Right?
It's fresh.
So it's fresh every time. So I help small businesses and entrepreneurs who struggle with getting leads and turning leads into clients, get more money, and employ a system that will make them money throughout their business. I've never said that before, right? But you know who I help. Mm-hmm. So if you're a small business, solopreneur, entrepreneur, now I don't say them all, because if you're a small business owner, you know if you are, right? I have a struggling small business owner. I help a service-based. So it depends on who I'm in front of.
Right.
I do not say I help Fortune 500 companies, because I don't. That's not my target market.
Right.
So people get confused with who do you help, and then who struggle with what. The key here, and I'm gonna go to my next slide. The key here is really, what do they wake up worrying about? Okay, mm-hmm. So we start with now people are referring to as an avatar. So who is the person that you help? So these are some descriptors that I use to help people start to decide. So do you help males or females? Now, I sat down with a client one time who had been in business for 20 something years. And I said, well, who do you help? Who's your target market? And she said, everyone. And I went, okay, that's a problem, first of all. Mm-hmm. If you help everyone, you help no one. Mm-hmm. That's the truth.
And you don't want everyone as a client.
No, you don't. No.
You really don't.
No.
You don't have to fire a client down the road because you were desperate to take on clients.
That's right.
The wrong person.
You don't want somebody who sends you emails every day complaining. You don't want somebody who you have to pull the money out of. You don't want somebody who, struggles to pay you every month. There are people you don't want to work with. There are people who, for healthcare practitioners, there are people who are unwilling to change their ways to get better. Mm-hmm. As you become more seasoned in business, you begin to not just take anyone who fogs the mirror.
Yeah.
Right? So I gave some tips, like, do you help males or females? Okay. Or other. You can have an other, male, female, or other.
Well, we have somebody on here who works with animals.
Well, great. So it's not a male or female. I work with pets, right? I would say pet owners too, because that's your actual sale.
Yeah.
But I work with pets and pet owners, right? And then, so business owners, so I would say pet owners in this. So for others, business owner, homeowner, professional, and so name the profession. I help, like my former client, real estate agents. I help women over 40. I help men and 50 above, over 50-year-old males who are going from the corporate world to a healing, to a service-based practice. You know, whatever it is that you specialize in. So ask yourself, small, large, or transitioning. Now, we just had a really funny discussion about this part about transitioning. I help people in transition. And so we would give them feedback like this. I help people who are in transition. Do you mean they're dying?
Exactly.
Right? What do you mean?
Yeah.
Right? 'Cause my head went to dying.
Yeah,
right?
that's where I went.
Right. I help people, in career transition. Great. So, because what happens is if you're not clear, people will stop and go on their own road.
Yeah.
Right? They'll just take it, and they forgot everything else you said from that point forward. Okay, so define an age group. Do they have kids? Are they empty nesters? So really this process can take you a while, and it's not a one and done thing. I add to this list all the time. Every time I get a non-ideal client, I go, starting to notice.
Yes.
Starting to notice when clients ask me things like, what happens when we run out of leads?
You'll never run out of leads.
Thank you. I said, you'll never run out of leads. Now, can I share a funny story that I say a lot of times that people ask me about on occasion, and I say it, but I don't tell them the story about it. Can I share that story?
Sure.
I'm just going to check my time real quick. Okay. Gotcha. Got 30 minutes. Good. Okay. So this is really appropriate though. And it goes to the part of leads. Okay. So I know we're talking about avatars right now, but avatars are leads. So, and I think, Denise, it has a lot to do with mindset, which I also talk about, but so this has a lot of principles in this story, but I'm going to try to net it out for you. So I'll tell people I find leads everywhere, including under anesthesia.
I love this story. I do know it. Keep telling it though.
Yeah. So here's what happened. I was working in my business doing a lot to create a new program. Somebody asked me, hey, how's it going? I go, things are going great, but I'm not taking very good care of myself. Notice what I said. A couple weeks later, I fall down the stairs, break my foot. Like a week before that's on a Saturday, a week before I'm supposed to leave to go to London with my best friend for her birthday and a work event. I fall down the stairs. My phone rings. This is back in the day when we had a landline. I step and I hear crunch and I'm like, that's not good. And I'm in a lot of pain. I answer the phone and it's my best friend. She goes, hey, what are you doing? And I go, I just fell down the stairs and broke my foot. She goes, what? She's very practical. We were supposed to go to London in a week. I go, I know. I said, I have a client. I've got to go meet them because I squeezed them in and I'll be back at my house in an hour and a half. And then can you come take me to urgent care? I go, I meet with the client, come back. That's not the story. I come back, we go to urgent care. And as I'm driving, because I'm already in my car, I said, read this. And it's my insurance information. And she goes, do you realize this expired 5 weeks ago? And she's the type of person, I've known her for 30 years. She would never let that happen. Right? But remember I said I was too busy and not taking good care of myself. So, when the insurance company sends you that stuff, they had my credit card. Why would I even think that they would cancel my insurance? I did not know it was a limited term insurance. Okay. So I go to the urgent care and the woman says, you need to come back here. And she goes, do you know, you don't have insurance? I go, I know. And she said, okay, well, and she was very nice. And she said, well, based on your x-ray, you're going to have surgery. We're going to cast you so you can get into Panorama Orthopedic Surgeons on Monday. Great. Long story short, I go there. I end up getting to go to London. I have the most amazing experience with Panorama. Okay. Evidently under anesthesia. So let me tell you the one thing that happened. I wanted to go to London and have my surgery. When I got back, they said I could. They casted me and put me on crutches. They I had to take blood thinning shots. So I don't know if anybody's ever done that before, but blood thinning shots are very expensive. I go to Costco. They were, I'll never forget, $587. Okay. So I go to Costco again, person without insurance. And I just, I just had to accept it. It was no one's fault. I wasn't going to blame, if anybody I blamed, it was myself, but I was just like, okay, it is what it is. I just have to deal with it. There are many lessons in this story. So go to Europe, give myself shots the whole time. As I was sitting in the airport, getting ready to leave for London, somebody from Panorama Orthopedic called me and said, if you'll bring us the receipt, we understand you don't have insurance. If you bring us the receipt, we will reimburse you for your shots. What? Wow. I had never had a doctor's office call me and reimburse me for my prescription. Wow. Ever. Yeah. Never to this day have I ever had that happen. And I was like, oh my God, thank you so much. And brought it in and they gave me a check for $587. Wow. I have surgery under anesthesia. Evidently, I told the doctor that I could help him find his passion, and I gave him my website address, which was what I was doing at the time. On my follow-up appointment, a week later, I come back. They're like, oh my God, do you remember what you said? I go, I have no recollection. Even when they told me, I didn't know. They took me into their HR director's office and said, we have it's called Panorama University, where we bring in speakers. We'd love for you to come in and talk to our employees. So I go in there and she says, send me a proposal. So I sent a proposal and she says, how much will you charge us? And I thought, well, the price of my surgery. So I charged them $2,500, walked in, there was a check waiting for me.
Wow.
Check waiting for me. So kind of the moral of the story is you can find leads anywhere, even under anesthesia, and you don't recall it, right? Oh. So there are leads everywhere. I found leads through the TSA line, in airports, on an airplane. Anyway, I need to up my prices because it seems like I always sell a $2,500 program on an airplane or an airport in the TSA line, something like that. So anyway, there's no lack of leads. We live in a country of 350 million people, and that's only in the United States. So, right. All right, moving on. So get really clear on who your perfect client is. Mm-hmm. You will not, even though it doesn't mean if most of my clients are female, it doesn't mean I'm not going to have a male client.
Right.
It doesn't. If most of my clients are entrepreneurs and I end up with a solopreneur, it doesn't mean that people won't find me. People will find me if I describe the problem that they're having. So right. That gets to our next point. Okay, so there are three main areas. Let me move what problem do they have? So this is really the key. And there are three main areas: health, wealth, and relationships that people will pay. You can probably put them into all of those categories, okay? Health has anything to do with pain. Health can do with mentally emotional pain. Mm-hmm. Wealth has everything to do with personal wealth, business, making money, leads, everything falls under those categories. And relationships. Okay, those are the three major areas that people will pay to make better in their lives. People do not pay to make things better. They actually pay to solve a problem. Mm-hmm. So then we ask, what do they wake up thinking about? What are they up at night worrying about?
Yep.
Okay, and how do you articulate that? So I help people who are for a wellness provider, I help people who are in chronic pain. I help people reduce chronic pain. I help people so Denise, give me some that you have heard of that are good. I help people what?
Oh gosh, you just put me on the spot.
I'm so sorry.
Providers?
Pardon?
Are you talking about wellness providers?
Yeah, wellness providers or any in this area. Health,
trauma, victimization, that seems to be a lot of eating right. I help people eat right and do so on a budget and healthy,
Great. Well, let me give you, so I love the eat right part because I think that, so I help people learn to eat amazing food that's healthy for them. Absolutely. Because so just making it sound, people don't want to eat right. People want to, a little more descriptive. So I did put you on the spot. A little more descriptive would be something like, I help people make delicious meals that are healthy for them. Mm-hmm. that solves a problem. Because I do not want to eat undelicious meals like just plain steamed vegetables, slap a rubber chicken on a plate every day, right? So being more attractive than the person next to you that says, I help people learn to eat right. So I work with a lot of health professionals who say, I help. So I'm working with somebody right now. I help people get off sugar. Great. People don't want to get off sugar. People don't, but they want to feel better. So what I want to remove the aches and pains I feel every day through finding alternatives to added sugar in my diet.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Give me some alternatives, right? So making it sound a little sexy, figuring out what is it, and really diagnosing the problem. So the problem is one thing. What is the pain that they're suffering? Most people, when they're talking with someone, stop at the problem. They don't actually get to the pain. You know what I'm talking about?
That's the point. Yeah, and when you're putting in terms of the conditions that your client is facing, that is the pain. And if you don't find the pain, you're absolutely correct. You do not have a sale. You've got to find the pain. If they're not in enough pain, they're not going to come on board with you. And that's one of the things that I've been talking to a lot of wellness providers with, and we have as an exercise, and here's a plug for my book, Hey Clients, Where Are You? We have an entire section on finding your ideal client. And Cheryl, you have done a great job of everything that we do as well in that book. And it's resonating with the people who are hearing this in layers is what I'm trying to get at. And it's just a reinforcement of it. But one of the things that I learned with wellness professionals is to have someone read to them a list of conditions like stress and trauma and relationships and ADHD and all these different things, and have them answer the question, is this something that they would come to me for? And when you do that, you see them light up. They'd be like, oh, yeah, well, maybe. Or you could, most wellness professionals, not most, that's not fair of me. Many that I have met say they can help anyone with almost anything. Okay, I'm sorry. That's a little too big of a target. It's again the showing up and saying I have all these different modalities. Well, it's the same thing when someone has a condition. But when we go through this list of words with a wellness professional, you can see what lights them up. And it's like, that's what you need to include when you're saying, here's my ideal client.
That is
boom.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That is perfect. You do not, so I want to add to that. You don't want to hit someone here. You want to hit them here.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
You want it to land when people talk to you. Oh my gosh, that's just what I've been looking for.
Exactly.
Right? Those are the things you want to begin to hear. And how do you do that? So there's a lot of moving parts in this and doing it well. And I'm going to kind of give the whole picture at the end, but the beginning pieces, and this is the thing that people struggle with. And I'm going to tell you, they struggle with it for a long time. They pay a lot of money to figure this out. Now, they think it's one thing. It's not. It's not one thing. It is, you say it different. I help people get over sales phobia. I help small businesses put sales at the front of their business instead of the back of their business, so they stay in business. Now that's real catchy, right? And people go, oh, I like that. Okay, but do you know what it means? I help people focus on sales because that's what's going to keep them in business before they go broke, right? And it's not a dirty word. It's not a bad thing.
No.
You have wasted a lot of time, effort, and education if you cannot treat people. It's like having a book that you stuck in your garage, right? No one ever gets to hear about it. So is this making sense? Is this making sense?
You're preaching to the choir. It's awesome.
I know. I'm preaching to you. Denise, Dana, is it making sense to you? That's my question.
Thumbs up, Dana, if you, or yes or no.
Look, because I can't see it with my screen shared.
Okay.
Good? All right.
Good. This is good.
Okay, perfect. So let me go to, here's the other piece. That's so interesting how that showed up. People will pay to eliminate pain.
Yes, they will.
Pay to eliminate pain. They do not pay to be happy, and they be more happier generally. There has to be a problem, and there has to be the pain that they get to. So the problem could be something such as The problem's I'm not making any money. Okay. Mm-hmm. Let's just use that. I'm not making enough money. So the pain is, I see the disappointment in my wife's face when on her birthday, I can't afford to get her what she wants. I see the pain on my kids' face when I tell them that we can't afford them to join, for lessons for something, for piano lessons or for something they really want to do. I see the disappointment on my brother's face when I tell him I can't afford to take the whole family to his wedding. That's the pain of not having enough money.
Right.
People today, I notice, walk around, especially in we have tons of groups in Denver, which I think is great. And there should be, and there are some authentic groups, but it also takes time for you to settle into that, of looking at people authentically. So many people have masks on of, I'm doing well, I'm doing right, I started this, I want the flexibility. Denise, I got to be honest with you. I've never worked so hard in my entire life to run a business. It's not. People think, oh, I'm gonna get up. I'm gonna start my day at 10. I'm gonna take off to play golf in the afternoon. My friends beg me, can you come play golf with us I got to plan 2 weeks ahead. I got to, it is a lot to start a business. And I started my business in the last 2 years. And it is consistently keeping that, the leads coming in and the people, helping the people and having the great. Dana, you called in that cat, didn't you? Move on, Cheryl. Okay. So what are the results? This is the other piece about the outcome. Now, this is a huge, I really want to throw some emphasis on this really quickly, and get to the heart of this, because this is so important. So that they what is the outcome of when people work with you? So they reduce chronic pain, so that they, what are some other outcomes? So that they start making money, so that they make a steady stream of income. What are some other things that, so that they can get back to enjoying the sports that they love.
So they can pursue their avocations as much as they want to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that they, being specific so that they can, here's a good one. So somebody who's a diet, but not diet coach, so that they can fit in their jeans.
Yeah, so they can fit in those skinny jeans that we all have in the back of our closet that we've held on to for 25 years.
So that they can fit in those, so that they can zip their jeans up comfortably. Now, some people, then you get into the jargon, right? Then you get into the jargon of the industry, and it is just keep it simple, right? Yeah. Keep it simple. What are the results? And let me tell you the big underlying thing that keeps people from claiming results. And that is that they are afraid to overpromise something. Now, the results you are claiming are based on your process, not your client's participation. Let me say that again. Your results and the outcome that you share have nothing to do with whether or not your client participates, because you've had the results. If they follow your instructions, they will get the results, right? Mm-hmm. And so this is where people get a little mixed up, okay? Well, not everybody will have that, you're right. But has someone. You're not really false advertising. And the more specific you can get of a result that everyone has if they follow this process. Can I tell you that everybody I work with, if they follow what I say, will make money? Absolutely. Every single person. I absolutely know that.
I actually wrote that line in my book, that will working with a coach earn you money? Yes. You have to do it though.
So I leave off the part you have to do it, because that is an assumed thing.
Yeah, well, in my book, I say it in a different way, but yeah.
So no, and so to declare that in a way people hear it and get excited about it, because here's the other thing is, you're either committed or you're not. And I only want to work with serious business owners. Yep. If you want to make money in your business, I'll talk to you. Yes, that's all I'm going to say about that, because that's all I'm going to say. Okay. So here is another, what's your roadblock? So everybody is stopped by some type of roadblock. True?
True.
Yeah. Everyone, including me. And it
Yeah.
changes. It changes. And it can change on a daily basis, weekly basis, hourly basis. The most important thing is that you have someone else to reflect that back to you. I don't like sales. What that really means when people say that to me is I don't want to seem pushy. I care about what people think about me. I don't want to be manipulative or selfish. Well, you're being selfish, and let me tell you why. You care more about what people think of you than you do helping others. You care more about what people think of you than helping others. I have had to say some really unpleasant things at times to clients, but I've said some really direct things to prospects because I completely see you're going to continue to do what you do, and I'm going to talk to you 6 months from now, and you're still going to be in the same boat.
Yeah.
I don't say that for my health. I say that because I owe it to you to be as honest as I can.
Absolutely.
You know what? You don't come to me because you want me to make you feel good. You come to me because you want me to help you make money.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So go to other people, Deepak and Oprah, who are going to make you feel good. And I love them. And I think that's great. And here's the thing. And you come to me and I will rejoice when you are celebrating. And the reality is I love you. I love every one of my clients. But I have had to say to one of them, well, you know what? I'm an introvert and I don't know if I can make, you want to have how many in your group? Great. You're going to have to make 30 calls in the next 2 weeks. What does that break down to? Well, I don't think I could do more than 3 a day. I go, you got something else on your schedule? Really?
Yeah.
I said, here, the question is, so here's what I say to them. I know you're scared and I need you to do it anyway. If you do not make 10 calls, contacts, reach outs a day in trying to fill this course, you're going to have 2 problems on your hand. One is you're going to beat yourself up because you know you didn't do the work to get it done. And the second thing is you're not going to have a successful course. If you do everything that you promised you were going to do, no holes barred, everything you thought to fill that course, and at the end of the night before the course starts, you've gone to bed and you said, I did everything I could. And you hit 9 instead of 10. Are you proud of yourself? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
If you let yourself off the hook, you now have 2 problems to deal with.
Yep.
And I'm going to tell you that the first problem of you not fulfilling that commitment to yourself is way worse than not making money.
Absolutely.
So I don't do sales. The product sells itself. Oh, this is one of my favorites. The product sells itself. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. No. I got good products in my closet and they are not out there selling themselves. Right? So that's kind of a fallacy. I don't know what to do. People have all of the information. All they have to do is Google it.
Exactly.
But they don't know what to do first, and they don't know what to do that makes the biggest impact. Right? And I have a system that tells you exactly what to do depending on the stage of your business. If you're in stage 1 of your business, meaning that you're making less than $10,000 a month in your business, then you should be doing X, Y, and Z. You should not be doing ABC, or I should do it the other way around. You should be doing ABC, not X, Y, Z.
Right.
Okay. People think that flooding social media and doing all this time and wait. I mean, I can waste some time on social media, believe me.
Oh,
and
yeah.
do all this, but the reality is it's face-to-face conversation, getting out there, meeting with people, asking them to work with you.
Absolutely.
And the bottom line is, do you want to serve others? If you do, and you want to do this for free, go get a job. But if you want to serve others and get paid for it and create a business out of it, then you owe it to yourself to figure out how to do this and do it well. All right. So so here we go. This is a good example, okay, of what it looks like. Let's put it all together. I help women over 40 lose the weight they want once and for all by removing the subconscious beliefs that are keeping those same 50 pounds coming and going for decades. Okay. Now I'm going to tell you the type of person that says this. It's one of my clients. She's a Reiki master. I did not hear in this whole thing, I'm a Reiki master.
No.
But if I'm somebody who's over 40, who wants to lose my weight once and for all, removing subconscious beliefs that are keeping me losing and gaining those same 50 pounds for the last decade, I'm like, I'm in. Tell me more about that. I don't care how you do it.
Exactly.
Right? Lock me up. Send me to a spa for a week. It's going to cost me $3,000. I don't care. What you just told me is what I want to hear. That's what I wake up worried about in the morning. What do you think about that statement? Did
I
this
think,
say it all?
no, I think it's good. It's a little longer than I would do.
Yes, yes.
It's good.
Yeah. But if you're in a conversation, so I wouldn't stand up and say this necessarily because it sounds a little scripted.
Yeah.
I would keep it shorter. But if you're in a conversation, this is a conversation. You know, I help women over 40. Or I help women, if you're talking to somebody over 40, you can drop the 40. But this kind of gives all the pieces together. And you can always reduce it, but you've got everything there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and is it long? Yeah, I help women over 40. Would I say that at a deal? And I would pause, not like it's scripted. I would connect with people. And that's the other thing is the emotional connection.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that's putting it all together. So quickly, this is the person who had that. And when I started, it was I'm a Reiki master, nutritionist, and Reiki teacher, blah, blah, blah. Okay. And so this is what Susan ended up with. Okay. Beginning monthly revenue of $500. We crafted her message. We showed her where to get leads begrudgingly. Calling past clients was one of her lead strategies.
Right.
And then, oh, wait a minute, asking people to work with you. Yeah. Would you like to come in for a session? We created a special offer.
Mm-hmm.
And within 90 days, she was making $2,500 a month.
That's good.
Yeah. So here's what I want to say. There's so many people out there who have beautiful gifts, unique gifts and talents they want to share with people who really, really, really are confused about where to start, what to do, how to do it, and they don't really have a system, speaking of a system, to be able to follow. Now, I got to tell you, Denise, I always hope that when I jump on a plane, I'm going to go here first. I always jump on a plane and I hope that the pilot has a flight plan. I hope that when he puts it on autopilot that he's going to take us where we need to go. That would be crazy to get in a plane and them not know where we're going. Oh, we're going to go somewhere today. So having a plan, and I do not mean a business plan. Do you know what business plans are for?
Getting a loan from the bank.
Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
They're for getting a loan at the bank.
Yep.
Now, I'm going to tell you today, as a service-based professional, to try to get a loan at the bank is absolutely asinine. You cannot do it. You could have years ago, based on good faith and because we knew Joe down at the bank. Yeah. But today, service-based professionals cannot get a loan at the bank unless they have something they're willing to put up for it, like a house or something like that,
right,
as collateral. So very difficult to do that. But so a business plan. So I talk about the I Care sales formula, and it's a process that you do over and over and over and over. Did I say over again? In order to generate the leads, right? So it starts with an intention, and it spells I care because you do, right? So it starts with an intention. I want to add 5 new clients in the next 30 days. Okay. Then we come up with the clarity. What is it going to take? What's your messaging? What's your offer? Very simple. Boom, boom, boom. And then the action that it requires to do that. What actions are you going to take once you get the clarity? You're not going to go and do, 5 different lead strategies. You're not going to do Facebook ads, Instagram. You're not going to go and do an email campaign. You're going to do focus on one lead strategy, maybe 2, but mainly 1. Okay. And then action, and you take the actions, and then we evaluate the results. And the deal is we evaluate the results before the end of your intention date, right? So you may be a weekend and we look at the results and we go, okay, well, you need to increase this, decrease this, your conversation needs to do this. And we work out the kinks and we evaluate. This is my favorite part. We evaluate it without judgment. You are running a business. This is not personal. Yep. People say, I said to a client yesterday as I was working with her, I said, what are you afraid of? She goes, being rejected. I go, rejection is personal. Saying no in a business situation is just a refusal to take you up on your services right now. It's just a refusal right now. And the question you follow up with, if somebody says, no, I'm not ready to do that, then the follow-up question is this a no, not ever? Or is this a no, you want me to check back with you in 3 months? That's the conversation. So getting people to have good conversations is part of what I like to do to help people do that. So I am going to, now I've just sat here and do one more thing. I'm going to put this back up on the screen so you can see it. So Denise, what I want to do is for anybody who views this video or who is on the call today, what I'd really like to do is you bring me your pitch or you get on the phone and you go, I have no idea. And we work through your impact statement so that you are at least getting attention from people and clear on your message to people, that I'm willing to jump on a call with them for 30 minutes. They can go to my website and it'll say book a personal call with me. But in any of these areas, or if you are struggling to do that, I am happy to walk you through what I think and give you an assessment of what I think you are and what you need to do and take the very first steps to getting you into generating leads and turning those prospects into clients.
That's
Ta-da!
Woo, look at that, with time to spare. Man, you are so spot on. And I just love your enthusiasm, your heart that you're doing all of this. And it's, it's great that what you're offering, to have them at least get that pitch. It's a step in the right direction. And, I tell people, I do workshops, as you know, for this book that I wrote, that my whole intent behind it is to get them moving forward, but then introduce them to people like you to take it and hold their hand and guide them through it, because I'm not a coach and that's not what I want to do. But, starting with that intention is everything. You've got to have that intention and then be so clear on it. So I love your I care. And it's an awesome thing. And then, of course, the thing that you do is really help them with that loving evaluation. And it's okay to evaluate. It's always in business. You hope it's 2 steps forward. And if you're going to take a step backwards, that it's 2 steps forward and not 2 steps backward. But
if you're not evaluating, you have no idea where you're going.
I know.
And one of the things I hear all the time is, I just need more clients. Well, that's really vague. And so let's start with accomplishments, because your brain then says, oh, I can get 5, then I can get 10, then I can, right? And you start to build that momentum. So it's what I love to do. It's what I'm here meant to do.
Momentum is good. Clarity is good. All of that. And like I said, when I started getting that clarity for myself, all of a sudden things have exploded in a very good way. And so you are spot on. And I encourage anyone who is watching this, take Cheryl up on her 30-minute offer. See what you can do to help move yourself forward. And then I'm a firm believer that everyone should have an accountability partner or a business and sales coach to help guide you. Because if if your organization is a house, your coach is the roof. Because when the elements hit, you've got to have something to protect you, and that's your sales coach. So anyways, Cheryl, thank you very much. To everyone on the call, thank you as well. And any last words before I hit stop record?